Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we will start from where we have left, that is chapter 12, Lead with Your Crotch. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the experts, there are few. Shunryu Suzuki, Japanese Zen monk, author teacher, also lovingly known as the crooked cucumber. I know the big saying is youth is wasted on the young, but I think in certain respect anyway, we have really got it going on in our late teens and early 20s. Aside from all the angst and drama and escorts home from the police, we have still got our little kid-like abilities to create just because still comedy intact. But we have also got this newly hatched adult ability to make big things happen in our lives. Add to this fact that we are not yet jaded by a long list of failures and are still under the vague impression that death is something that happens to other people. We, if you are anything like me, leap into our lives when we are young with an idiotic yet awesome disregard for what ifs. Admittedly, I remember doing things in the danger department that still have me sleeping with my light on when I think about them now. Hanging out in sketchy parts of town with even sketchier people, stowing away on trains, taking enough LSD in one sitting to keep an entire village staring at their hands for hours, hiking off into the desert with no water, no map, and a canteen full of gin and tonics. My first priority being fun, with thoughts of the consequences trailing somewhere, if at all, far off in the distance. But I also remember diving into my creative pursuits with the same reckless obliviousness and, as a result, getting utterly spectacular and thrilling results. Which is why I find it so odd to hear people say, if I knew then what I know now, I'm not sure I would have done it. Well, thank God you didn't know if that's your lame or attitude. You'd be sitting next to a pile of empty beer cans, whining about how you missed out on going for your dreams if you did. Problem is that once we are older and wiser, many people trade in living fully in their purpose for more grown up versions of life that range from the merely passable to the full on sucking. They have bought into this idea that being responsible is equal to not having fun anymore. That waking up feeling excited about life is for the young. And once we are older, we need to trade that in, settle down, and be more realistic. Yawn. I'm not talking about being an irresponsible jerk or doing the same things we did when we were younger, but I'm talking about continuously living our dreams, no matter what stage of life we are in, instead of settling for mediocrity because we don't believe anything else is available or appropriate. We only get to be in our bodies for a limited time. Why not celebrate the journey instead of merely riding it out until it's over? We are still allowed to dream, and our dreams are still available to us. But as we move through life, we must make the conscious effort to overcome whatever judgments we have, as well as keep all our fears from past experiences in the head and participate in our own barbary, whatever that looks like for us. We must focus on the positive instead of the list of negatives we have collected over time. and keep that focus regardless of what flies in our faces. And one of the best ways to do this to do this is by reconnecting with our inner kids. I know how unacceptably dorky this may sound, but just stay with me here. Even though you are now most likely turned on by different things than you were as a youngster, you can still learn a lot from how you went about life in the old days. So think back. Was there ever a time where you felt totally in your groove, where you created and did stuff just because it was fun without worrying about the outcome, where you couldn't wait to wake up in the morning and go do your thing? This could mean anything, from when you were a little kid running around with a maxi pad stuck to your eye, pretending to be a pirate, to your senior year in high school when you got voted class clown for repeatedly charming your way past the ladies in the front office to make fake announcements over loudspeaker, to that summer you learned to play the guitar without looking at your hands. When were you most turned on by life? And if you have yet to feel this way, stay tuned. And what can you learn from those experiences? For me, one of the most exciting and on purpose times in my life was when I was the singer guitarist in a band called Roach. I use the terms singer, guitarist, and band all very loosely because we in Crotch weren't concerned with things like learning to play our instruments or participating or any of that snooty musicianship crap. We had bigger fish to fry, like talking in loud voices about our band and checking ourselves out in a plate glass windows as we walked by with guitars strapped to our backs. Electric ones. I started Grudge with this chick from work named Paula who'd never picked up a guitar in her life either, and who was as incapable of embracing her feminine side as I was. Paula and I were the kind of young ladies who prided ourselves on the wattage of our stereo equipment, our firm handshakes, and our ability to drink anyone in the room under the table. The testosterone fuel chip on my shoulder came from a high school career spent futilely awaiting a timely puberty while standing a good foot taller than everyone on earth. All the boys at my high school included. None of them ever asked me out, but I could make them laugh and kick their asses at basketball. So rather than fail at seducing them, I simply became one of them. Paula's issues were more homicidal in nature. She was the kind of angry found in highly intelligent women who developed the body of a playboy bunny by the age of 30 and are forced to grow up in the deep redneck South. Within the first few months of starting the band, she traded in her long, raven locks for a fire engine red buzz cut and covered her arms and back with tattoos of flames and dragons. We decided that as the tough one, she should play the bass, while I, the desperate for attention one, would be on guitar, and that my little brother Stephen, the malleable one, would play drums, only until we find another drummer. I promised him as I attempted to plug my guitar into the wrong part of my amp. Stephen has played the drums since he was 5 and is the kind of younger brother every bossy older sister dreams of. Talented and endlessly enthusiastic with a very high threshold for pain. The great tragedy of Crotch was that Underneath our sneers and our bravado, we were two sweet girls who desperately wanted boyfriends. But we had issues. Issues that we decided were best worked out while drunk and sometimes naked on stage. Paula and I, baffled by our lack of gentlemen callers, chose to express our disappointment by writing and singing songs like Sue Me, Up I Have Had Enough, and by yelling things into the microphone between songs that one evening would inspire an audience member to rush the stage, holding a chair over his head with intent to beat us with it. In spite of ourselves, we quickly acquired quite the following. In less than a year's time, we also wrote, produced, directed, and starred in a film about the record industry. Wrote, directed, and starred in a music video that got on national television. Recorded an EP, got a demo deal with Columbia Records, and even learned a couple more chords. And we did it with full-time corporate jobs and no idea what we were doing. It was fun with a capital F. There's nothing as unstoppable as a freight train full of fuck yeah. If you have ever known what it's like to be in your groove and are having trouble finding your way right now, think back to your attitude and what your priorities were when you were totally lit up about life and use them to help give you the clarity and the kick in the rear end you need now. Here are some nuggets of wisdom I gleaned from the crotch days that I still find useful. First, just see what you can get away with. Life is ridiculous. It so seriously is. We have no freaking idea what we are even doing here, spinning around on this globe in the middle of this solar system, with who the hell knows what out there beyond it. Making a big fat deal out of anything is absurd. It makes much more sense to go after life with a sense of why not, instead of a furrowed brow. One of the best things I ever did was make my motto. I just wanna see what I can get away with. It takes all the pressure off, puts the punk rock attitude in, and reminds me that life is but a game. Yes, we have bigger responsibilities and more pressure as adults. But come on, folks, I guarantee you there are countless people with way more to whine about out there than you who are totally kicking asses because they decided to go for it instead of sitting around in the wet pantload of their own excuses. Take a new approach to what you are doing and try this on. I just want to see if I can start my own successful business. I just want to see if I can get myself out of debt and make $100,000 more this year. I just want to see if I can lose 100 pounds. I just want to see if I can sell one of my paintings for 50 grand. I just want to see if I can meet my soulmate. Take the pressure off and get back in on the adventure. Second, lose track of time. Have you ever been doing something and suddenly realized that hours have gone by without you noticing? What does that for you? And how often during your day does this happen? When you are so lost in what you are doing that you lose all senses of time, you have officially entered the vortex. You want to get your ass in there as much as possible, so look at your life and figure out how you can make that happen. First, figure out the things you get lost in your business and your personal life. Then figure out how you can be doing more of those things more of the time. Hire someone, no excuses. and delegate the tasks you hate doing. Partner up with someone who's good at and enjoys doing the things you are not that into. So you can be freed up to do more of what you want. If you have to make massive changes in your business and your personal life to include more time doing what you love, figure it out. Don't just hand your life over to your circumstances like a little boss. You can take your life wherever you want it to go. So grab it by its nether regions and make doing the things you love a priority. Third, keep being the beginner. One of the best things about starting a band when you have no idea how to play your instrument is that you don't care if you sting because you already know you do. Then once you learn how to play, you get all serious. You become overly critical and hard on yourself and don't let yourself have nearly as much fun anymore. The trick is to let the beginner live alongside the expert. Instead of pretending you don't know who she is, when she tries to sit with you and your new, cooler, more experienced friend in the cafeteria. The beginner may be an idiot, but she knows how to party. And if you don't let her play with you anymore, things risk getting rather droll around here. So hone your skills, take your craft seriously. Learn what you need to learn, invest in yourself, practice your ass off, fall down, get up, keep going. Get really, really, really good at what you do, but don't lose the fun in the process. Because, what's the point of doing all that work then? The only thing you need to do is do the very best you can. Once you have done that, the only other thing that matters is that you enjoy yourself. Fourth, love yourself, and the bluebirds of happiness will be your permanent backup singers. Thank you everyone. We have completed chapter 12 in this video. I hope you enjoyed it and are very consistent with the reading. We will meet in the next video. Stay tuned till the time. Please like, share and subscribe and comment down any suggestion for improvement. Thank you.